Here we are studying geometry, and in geometry the very first topic we head on is lines and angles. Let's check and see what lines and angles talk about. Under lines and angles we have some terminologies to be aware of, like we have line segment, ray, line, and many more. Let's take up line segment first. You see these dots? These dots are nothing but points. They have no length, no breadth, no depth. They are just pointing the exact location. And when we connect these two dots like this, let's say this point is say A and this point is say B. This is called a line segment. AB is the line segment and we write it like this. AB is a line segment. It has a definite length starting from A going till the B. So AB is a line segment. This line segment AB, if we extend into any of the directions, either this direction or this direction, then this line segment AB converts into a ray. We write it like this. AB is a ray starting from A and going indefinitely into the direction of B. You can see that this is going infinitely into the direction of B. It will not change the direction. Now, in place of going into one direction, either this direction or this direction, if this line segment goes into both the directions, this is going this direction, this is going this direction. Now, when line segment extends into both the directions infinitely, we call it a line. We write it like this, A, B. It extends into both the directions. In case of a ray, when I write AB and put this arrow here, it says it starts from A and goes into the direction of B. In place of, if I write it as BA, it means I have this line segment starting from B and going into the direction of A. Then we write it as BA. Starting from B, going into the direction of A. Collinear points, we have A, B, C, 3 points here or more than 3 points. If all of them fall into same direction, means we can connect them with one single line, we call it collinear points. Look at these points here. Let's take them D, E and F. If we try to connect D, E, F from one single line, that won't be possible. D, E, they are collinear. 2 points are always collinear. So you can connect them with one line. This F falls not into the same direction of E. This is a little bit off. So we cannot connect D, E, F into one line. It means D, E and F, they are not collinear. Means they are not falling into one line. Then we have intersecting lines and concurrent lines. 2 lines, suppose this is AB and this is say DE. Both of them are intersecting or cutting at one point. Say this is O. We call it intersecting lines. This happens only in case of 2 lines. Concurrent lines. We have 3 or more than 3 lines intersecting at one common point. Let's take it as O. We call these lines as concurrent lines. Intersecting, 2 lines. Concurrent, 3 or more than 3. Then we have parallel lines. You see, we have these 2 lines, and if you try to see the distance at any point between these 2 lines, at this point, or this point, at any 2 points, if you measure the distance, that will remain same. So in case of two lines or more than two lines, if distance between them at least 2 points or more than 2 points remains same, those lines will be called as parallel lines. Means they can extend infinitely into both the directions, but they will never intersect because distance is always same. Look into these two lines. They are non-parallel lines. See, distance here and distance here. So that's same. So if you extend these two lines into this direction, like this, you see, they intersect at this point. So they are non-parallel lines. You see here, parallel lines have no common point. You see, these two parallel lines, they can extend into both the directions infinitely, but they will never cut each other. It means they will never have any common point. But two distinct lines cannot have more than one common point. These two lines, they are non-parallel lines, but they will never have more than one common point. They will intersect at only one point. So we saw points, we saw line segment, we saw ray, we saw line, then we saw collinear points, we saw non-collinear points, intersecting lines, concurrent lines, then we saw parallel lines, non-parallel lines. Now let's do a quick question answer session and try to understand what we have learned so far. This one here says, how many lines can be drawn to pass through a given point? You have a point like this, just a dot. It says, how many lines can be drawn to pass through a given point? You can take as many as lines and all of them can pass through that single point. So how many lines? Infinitely many lines. It says how many lines can be drawn to pass through two given points? We have one and we have two. We have two dots here, 2 points here. It says how many lines can be drawn to pass through two given points? We try to connect these 2 points. So you see, only one line. Only one line can be drawn to pass through two given points. In case of one, infinitely many as lines you can pass through. In case of two dots, you can pass through only one line. How many points can the two lines at the most intersect? So two lines like this, they can intersect only at one point. It says a ray AB is same as ray BA. This is my, say, point A and this is point B. This is the ray extending in the direction of B. So we write it as A, B and then we put an arrow on top. But if it is BA, means we have something like this, B, A and extending in this direction. So write it as B, A. They are not same, it's false. Then we have two lines are parallel only when they have no common points in common. Two lines are parallel, I mean this line and this line, suppose they are parallel lines, only when they have no point in common. These two are parallel lines, they will never intersect. It means they will never have any common points. So this is true. Now we have a bit of idea about lines. Let's move into the next chapter and try to understand about angles.